Welcome to another Games Talk Live. We are back, and this week we have a great show for you. But first, I want to just shout out everybody out there who is listening live right now, and those who listen after the fact, of course, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can basically stream a podcast. We're on that app here, or I'm on that app, I should say. It's really only a one-man show here, except I do have my guests. And of course, this week's guest is no different. And also, it's somebody I have some history with. Yeah. We used to be on a panel together back in the day with the GRG podcast hosted by KMega405. You guys know him in the community. Anyways, Miss Delilah HD is on the show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. It's going pretty good. Just
awesome.
Excited. A lot of cool things happening in gaming right now. So yeah, anniversary is tomorrow.
Yeah, the anniversary is tomorrow, and there's rumors swirling about possibly having a multiplayer Halo being dropped tomorrow. I don't know, but then I've heard there's a rumor saying that they pulled that back. I don't know what's going on there.
No one knows, right?
Nobody really knows, but I'm kind of hoping they do drop it because I'd like to play some more of that Halo multiplayer. That's
man, the flight was super addictive. So yeah,
it really is. But yeah, since GRG days, you've got your own podcast going on right now, of course, with L Boogie, Lady Infamous, and Charisse over on the Grown Women Gaming podcast.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, 9 a.m., and that would be Pacific time for me at 9 a.m. anyway. But how did you guys get together? What is the origin story of Grown Women Gaming?
Wow, that's they can tell the story better than I can, but
you have a story.
Yeah. I do, absolutely, I do. A few years ago, Lady Infamous was doing her own channel, whatever. And so I reached out to her. We kind of had a conversation. And then surprisingly, months later, KMega asked me to be on the show. This is before GRG started. KMega asked me to be on the show. And then shortly after that, Lady Infamous joined the show. And so from that point, we just kind of, had conversations between us. It's like, playing games together, talking, typical friend type stuff. And then later on that year, I ended up going to E3 and meeting Lady Infamous and L Boogie during that. And then Charisse, me and her, we went to college together. So we I knew her forever. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. She can blackmail me if she wanted to.
We won't tell those stories here today. Yeah. We'll keep it PG.
Just to let you know, we're that kind of close is what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so that's just kind of how it started. It's like I knew Charisse. I was like, lady hit me up. It's like, I really want to start my own podcast. We can spin it off with GRG and kind of like the rest is history. But what's interesting about that is Lady Infamous had been doing Grown Women Gaming before GRG. It was just something that she wanted to kind of improve on and build on her own. And so when she saw the opportunity, she figured, let's do this. So, you don't see it. You don't see, 4 African-American women on a gaming panel talking about, the latest in the gaming industry, the games that's being played. And it's all like, it's not like your indie scene or like your typical mobile phone games. It's true to like AAA and stuff. So
no, you girls can game. I haven't played with you, but I've played with L Boogie and Lady Infamous. And let me tell you, they carry me. They carry me in multiplayer games.
Oh, yes.
Holy crap, are those girls good?
Yeah, they're very good. Let's say they're big on the competitive scene, as far as shooters and stuff. So for me, it's like, man, I'm not that. Like, I love my single player campaigns. I love jumping into a story because my time is just always shifting around during the week. I have to kind of fit it in where I can. So yeah, they definitely carry me too. Anytime you're playing, multiplayer titles. Yep, I'm one of them.
Yeah, shout out to Lady Infamous. She's in the chat. Yeah, she's good. If you need a partner in Destiny or even COD or any of those games, Battlefield, she's good. Her and L Boogie can really carry anybody. Really, they're really good.
Those ladies for me, like, I just want to kind of plug this in. Those ladies for me are family, though. Like, we've
of course,
over the years, we've kind of built a strong bond. So I appreciate them, and thank you all. I know they're in the chat, so thank y'all for supporting everything.
And that's the best thing about the podcast, I think, is because you can see that real friendship And that's what sets certain podcasts apart from, say, a podcast.
The chemistry, for sure.
Yeah, you have podcasts out there, and you can tell when these people really don't, they're not really friends with each other. They just get together every Tuesday or Wednesday and do a podcast. And then you can see the ones that actually are friends, like the Iron Lord. Shout out to them.
Oh, yeah, shout out to them.
They're so good. Yeah, that's my favorite podcast out there for gaming. I love those guys. But yeah, so Grown Women Gaming is a thing, and you guys really need to check them out. Again, it's on the Grown Women Gaming channel on YouTube every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific time. And if you can't catch them live, catch them after the fact. They're a great podcast. It's awesome. But
yep, and we're also on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff too. So.
Oh, that's great to know. Yeah. So listen to them. Grown Women Gaming. So. For you, Delilah, let's shift focus. Let's talk about you for a minute.
Sure.
What era, what console generation did you start gaming?
Oh man, I'll have to say it was the Nintendo era for sure. Like the NES.
The NES.
The NES. And what's interesting about that is I had a friend down the street that had an Atari. So I would always tease about like how mine looked better than the NES looked better than the Atari.
Yep.
But that's what started it off for me. Was the Nintendo for sure.
What games got you like?
It was the Mario and Duck Hunt. I was so fascinated by the fact that characters moved on the screen. I was young, right? I was like, I had to be like 5
at one time.
And I was just fascinated by characters moving on the screen, and then this, you had the light gun with Duck Hunt, and like how the dog will laugh at you, and I would be really close on the screen trying to. So
I remember that.
It was fascinating for me, but definitely Nintendo. I started out with Super Mario Brothers, and so from there it kind of grew. Do you want me to go through the history of it? Like,
go through. We can do this.
So from there, so from there, my brother, like we kind of begged my mom to get us a Super Nintendo when that launched. So we, after our parents got us a console, wanted the Super Nintendo, and from the Super Nintendo, that's what did it for me. It's like it solidified what games could be. I was able to play those games and get a story and just escape a little bit from like daily stuff that was going on in my childhood. Right. And so that helped me a lot. So I mean, from there, like I played games like Super Metroid, of course, Super Mario World. It's just one of those things to where that whole catalog, your Zeldas, Link to the Past, all kind of things. Like, so that era, it's still huge for me. So their catalog is ridiculous when you go back and look at the totality of the SNES library. It's incredible. So yeah.
Did you ever get a Genesis or a Sega?
No, I never got a Genesis. I did later on get the Genesis Mini, which is like kind of behind me, but I had a friend, a different friend that had a Genesis, so I did get a chance to check out some of those games, just Sonics and whatnot.
That was the cool thing back then. We'd all have that friend that had something else, and we'd be able to, check out the games on that side. And then, there was a little bit of console warring where you would probably say, that game is a little bit better on my console or whatever. It was never to the degree of console warring today. The foolishness that the lengths that some of these people will go for console war is just ridiculous. But back then it was just more of just, a little ribbing between friends, just fun, on that level.
I know with Sega, an interesting thing, the friend had the Shinobi game. So from that point, after playing the Shinobi game, like I had got this affinity for games with ninjas. So I went back and played like Ninja Gaiden on the NES.
Nice.
It's just like, man, they had this game called Shadow of the Ninja back on there on the NES as well. That was really good. It was one of the first like co-op ninja fighting games. And that me and my brother, like we went and we went to this video store called Video to Go, and we will beg the people in the back to hold that game. We didn't want anybody else to rent that game because we was afraid.
Like, hold it for me. I'll pick it up Friday. I'll have it back to you, Sunday or whatever it was. How many days did they rent those for you? 3, 4?
They only gave us 2 for the games because people would start, he had some tight hands around there. So they would only allow us to get them for 2. So we would, 2 days we would rent it. And then, of course it was expensive. My mom, she would get tired of us begging, like, okay, we keep buying. So we was just like, can you just buy the game? But no, the game at the time was like $60, and that for that time was a lot. So we would try to get the title, get it, rent it, so on and so forth. But
that's something a lot of people out there don't even realize, how we used to rent games back then. So when I hear they equate Game Pass to renting games, it's like, nah, this is way different.
Very different. Yeah.
You'd look at the back of a box. That's all you had to go on. It's like, okay,
there was no website to go to.
It was that box art. And sometimes that box art would look amazing. And then you get it home and the game was total trash. And
that was always the case. Well, majority of the time.
Yeah. But your mom or dad would be like, well, you're stuck with it for the weekend. So deal with it.
And luckily, my dad, like, he would get us at most, like, he would get us the guides, so you could kind of look at the pictures from the guides and know, okay, this game actually looks pretty good,
Nice.
And try to rent it. So,
well, Delilah, it's time. It's time. It's time for that 5 questions. Are you ready?
I think I am. All right,
I got
no choice. Let's go.
5 questions. All right, Delilah, got 5 questions for you. You know the drill. 4 trivia questions, and one of those questions is, of course, subjective. And it's the same question I ask everybody. So you should be ready for that one. But here are your 4 questions. The first one, got to play the music for you. Which Xbox console did Achievements first appear on?
Xbox 360.
Correct. Who unveiled the original Xbox alongside The Rock January 6, 2001?
Come on, this is too easy. Bill Gates.
There you go. Look at how confident she is, people. She said this is too easy. Man.
It's a classic scene. Come on, everybody knows that.
What was the first Bethesda game to be put on an Xbox console? The very first.
Very first game they put on an Xbox console?
Yes.
That would be Morrowind.
Correct. Elder Scrolls Morrowind.
Okay.
Look at this. She's just like, this is too easy, Fonz. I need something harder. And, unfortunately, I think she's going to get them all. So here it is. What compulsion game launched alongside the PS4 November 15, 2013? Compulsion game launched alongside the PS4. It was also day one there for the Xbox when it launched a week later.
Oh, wow. So would that be Contrast?
Look at that. She got them all right.
Let's go.
All right. Yes. I can turn off the music for this one. Favorite gaming experience of all time?
Ninja Gaiden Black.
Really? Ninja Gaiden Black. What'd you like about that game?
Oh, man. Just the level, the controls and level of difficulty. It was the first time that I don't know how to put it in words, but I want to master that game. Like I played it over. I want to find all the scarabs. I want to learn all the combos. I wanted to master that game. So for me, it was just Game Black. But you got to remember, think about what I told you earlier about I had affinity for ninja games, right?
Yeah.
So it was Shadow of the Ninja, the older Ninja Gaiden games, Shinobi. And so Ninja Gaiden Black was like the first time we seeing a full 3D kind of action adventure. Well, I'm pretty sure there were other ones like your Devil May Cries and stuff. Of course, there were.
It was an amazing looking game. Amazing.
Yeah, for the time, for sure, for the time. Yeah. And just having to learn in the level of difficulty, those ninjas, man, they were something else. And just I wanted to master that game. So for me, it was just that I remember the experience. And also I can tie it to when I was in college and how like I hooked the Xbox up downstairs and I was just playing that game, hours on end. I took over the big screen. And as I played the game, like a crowd started building up behind me.
And Charisse can attest to this because she was there, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she was there.
You said you went to college with her, so.
Oh yeah. But I don't know if she was there doing that. But it was a crowd building up behind me while I was playing the Ninja Gaiden.
She was like, "Who is this girl over here playing this Xbox?"
And then so when I beat the bone dragon or whatever in that game, the boss battle with the bone dragon or whatever, I hear this loud like and I didn't know that everybody behind me was watching me play the game. And so
Sharice was mad. She wanted to watch Young and the Restless, and you were over here playing Xbox on the big screen. So
no, she probably wanted to hook up her own system and play something else.
She's like, get that out of here. I want to play what I want to play.
Right. Right.
Anyways, no, it's I love that type of talk about these older games and stuff, because I remember myself going through games like Ninja Gaiden. That game was so freaking hard. Like it really was. I remember at the time that was a challenging game. So for you to want to just master that game, that kudos to you.
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
I mean,
I accept that answer. I accept that answer. And with that, guess what? You win.
Oh, nice. Do I get a prize? Do I get something for winning? I just win.
You know what? You don't get no prize. You know what? You were very cocky at the beginning there. No, there's no prize, but you get to have fun and play the game. I always have a good time playing with everybody. And you were one of the few that actually got all of them right. So
nice. That's
pat
cool.
yourself on the back. And you've got a lot of fans in the chat. Of course, Lady Infamous cheering for you. They're all happy for you in the chat. Master Rex says, wow, Delilah knows her game. Yes, she does know her games.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Xbox. I'm a day zero Xbox fan.
Yep, me too. Were you a beta tester for live?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Got the disc and everything, put it in. Yep. Yeah, it was amazing time. I remember, what was your first experience when you put that disc in and you went live? How did it feel?
I actually played around with, you remember you could do the voice masking?
Yes,
so I used to always have the little, the dark.
You did the monster sounding voice?
That was me all the time.
Oh, man.
I didn't want a lot of guys to know I was a girl. I had a different name too, by the way.
Guess what? We knew. You could always tell.
I'm gonna tell you. No, I'm gonna tell you. I had the mask. I'm gonna tell you. I had the mask voice, right? And I went by a different name. I wasn't going by Delilah HD. I was going by D Blaze at the time. So it was one of those.
But I gotta tell you, because I was an adult at the time when that came out and everything. And anytime I heard that deep voice, I always thought A, it was a girl, or B, it was a young boy. And that's all it was ever to me. Like, you're a young child or you're female. And those were the ones that usually use the deep voice.
That makes sense. But I tried to hide because
it was a good time.
It was brutal. Sometimes it's still brutal.
No, it wasn't that bad during Xbox Live. When that first launched, everybody was cool as hell. Like, everybody just wanted to play together. It was so different. When it trickled down to like little kids and stuff, then it started getting wild. I had little 8-year-olds cursing me out, trying to play COD against people.
The worst experience for me was when I would play Xbox Live. Like you said, it started out great, and then as time go on, I would jump into we'll party up or whatever, and as soon as they find out everything, we'd be all cool, right? And as soon as they find out I'm a female, it's like the vibe changed, and I could no longer enjoy the game. I have to drop it and just play something else or do something else. It's just it was unfortunate, but I have those memories, of course, but it's one of those things.
Yeah. Shout out to Spooky Sprocket in the chat. He says, don't forget to hit that like button, please. Yes, hit the like button.
Please,
because it does help. It really does help the channel. I appreciate all of you being here. You've got Lady Fox in the house, Lady Foxfire. We've got Lady Infamous, Miss K. Miss K is always a great supporter. It's awesome to see so many women in the chat today to support Delilah. I love this. This is what it's about, So thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. Everybody showing up here today. Awesome. Thank you. But yeah, so let's get into a topic I wanted to talk to you about. I know it's a little old. Every time you talk about something that's a week and a half old, it's old news in this industry. But last week, we heard news that came out that said Sega and Microsoft struck a partnership, and Sega will be using the Azure servers, and in the future, make games utilizing Azure. I wanted to get your perspective on this, though, because, do you think there's more to the story here? Will we see more games on Game Pass by way of Sega because of this deal, or what? What do you feel?
What do I feel? Well, first, like everybody else, I'm like, okay, well, this sounds kind of similar to the whole thing, the press release they did with Sony, and so it's Azure. At first, I thought that, but then you see Sarah Bond's tweet, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? It may be more to it. Then you start looking into the history, Microsoft and Sega. They have a long history together. Whether it was Phantasy Star, Online 2, Yakuza, the way they put all their library on Game Pass. You got Relic making games for like, well, I think they did Age, help out with Age of Empires, right?
Yeah.
So Sega Europe. And so it's like, that's huge. When you think about the relationships, I think that's when you kind of raise the eyebrow, like this may be just a little bit different. And then when you look at the tone of that press release and they talk about a super game, clearly to me that sounds like online. And who's better? Microsoft is that's their bread and butter. So that's how their bread is buttered. Yeah. So
yeah. I know what you meant.
Thank you.
The audience knows.
So yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to like learn more about their relationship, and we'll see. I mean, Sarah Bond put in a tweet that she can't wait to share more. So all we can do is just wait, right? See what happens.
And I mentioned this before too. Maybe it was on my last show. I'm not sure if we talked about this. Anyway, I mentioned on RDX for sure that there was an article put out there by Sega of Europe, and they were really happy with the numbers they were seeing with their games in Game Pass. So that's another thing. Also, when they did announce this partnership, the very next day, what did they do? They put a game in Game Pass PC. So
I didn't even know that.
Another one.
That's kind of cool.
So, I mean,
Well, and isn't Phantasy Star like online, the new one? Isn't that only on PC and Xbox? Like, isn't it?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
If you know that, I'll go along with it, but I'm not sure about that.
Maybe the chat might can tell us.
Yeah.
Chat might can tell us.
Star, only Xbox and PC.
I gotta check the chat to see. Yeah.
But yeah, I just found it kind of an interesting situation going on between the two, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I know you're heavily invested in the Xbox ecosystem, everything Xbox, and you'd like to see some more. I won't say. This is definitely not an acquisition, but more games coming.
You know what? You know what though? It's like when I think about Sega, I just think about they have a massive tool chest of like IP, right? And so I would love to see like your Super Monkey Ball and like your Jet Set Radio Future and all. And they have a lot to offer.
I'd like to see an
exclusive.
That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see an exclusive.
Yeah,
but
I got you.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Speaking of exclusives, though, let's talk about this new game that everybody's talking about from Compulsion Games. So yeah, the creators of Contrast and We Happy Few have a new game that they're talking about, which sounds very, very interesting. It's heavy on story. It's a game, basically a dark fantasy set in the South or something. It's a single player game. It sounds really compelling. What's your thoughts on this title?
Oh man, it sounds exciting. I mean, I read the article. I read the Windows Central article, just like everybody else.
Yeah, Project Midnight is what the code name is.
Yeah, so I mean, I look at Compulsion, just and it's like I've just been noticing, like for them, it's just been all about like a growth thing. Like I think they're upwards of like 80 people on staff at this point. Like they've been growing rapidly, so it's good to kind of hear some sort of information about like a new game, or we know it's coming, right? Anytime you have now Microsoft have these studios, something that they're cooking on something. No one's sitting on their hands; they're making something, right? And so it's good to kind of see a little nugget that Windows Central dropped. Of course, me being who I am, I love seeing the diversity they had in the concept art. Like you said, it looked very dark fantasy. I mean, they even had a guy. He had like a bird beak or something and some wings. It was very, very weird looking, but it's exciting for me. I mean, I think Microsoft, like Xbox in general, like needs single player kind of action games, in their portfolio. So for them to hear that this may be that, I think that's actually pretty exciting. So I trust them to make a great story. Because even though people have their issues with We Happy Few, it's like if you look at the DLC and how they were able to craft that story, it was really, really well done. And a lot of people, like they talk about We Happy Few, but they don't talk about those extra add-ons that Compulsion put on top of the game. Yeah. And then they're really good. And I encourage people to go check those out.
That's really good to hear. El Boogie, by the way, is in the chat. She says, I'm here driving, but GWG is in the building, she said.
Thank
Yes,
you.
they
Shout
are.
out to El Boogie in the car.
They're all in the building.
Yes.
All of them are here. Sharice is here
We
too.
support each other, man. That's what
Yeah,
we
that's
do.
that's how it is. That's how it
That's
should
what
be.
we do.
Some of these podcast members of mine sometimes don't even come by. Jeez. Anyway, no, shout out to those guys at RDX.
Yeah.
Love those guys.
Yeah,
But
and shout out to Lady Infamous for starting Grown Women Gaming in the first place. Like to be honest, like she had this vision well before, like I said, GRG, before all of that.
really, it was
her
so
vision.
it was Lady Infamous's idea,
Yes,
and
it was
that's her
solely
baby,
her
right?
thing. Yeah, it's solely
That's
her thing.
awesome.
And so, she did the legwork to kind of, make sure that she found the talent. Basically, she was did her thing. So, but now it's all our baby.
Flame in the chat says, "Speak on it, lady. We Happy Few DLC was great." Well, yeah. We Happy Few DLC apparently is really good. That's awesome to hear. Really, I think that you've got a team here they started out when they were making these games like at 40 man team or something.
I think that was pretty small team,
and I think they ballooned up to almost 100 now. So
really?
they more than doubled in size since they started.
Yeah.
So you would expect that this game could be a lot bigger than their previous titles, but I just don't want to put too much into this right now. Like, I'm excited to hear more of the game because anytime I hear third-person action adventure game with a heavy story, that's my type of game. That's my jam. So I'm like, cool, I want to hear about this, but I also want them to one day, Xbox I'm talking about, make a big, like, blockbuster third-person action adventure game. Something along the lines of like a real big budget.
You mean like Gears?
Well, that's good.
You mean like Halo?
It's good, but I'm talking more along the lines of like putting a lot of like, for me, like a Red Dead Redemption or even a Last of Us or an Uncharted. Like,
what's interesting when you say that it's not from a lack of trying. I mean, you had was it, Quantum Break? You had your Rise, Son of Rome. Like,
yeah, we've had games. Rise was going there. Rise, even if you go back to Rise today, it still looks up. It looks great.
Oh, it holds up. Yeah,
it holds up really well.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It looks better than some games that are out today. It's crazy, but I just want a big one like that. But I mean, if you look at the track record, you have to look at history too. With Compulsion Games, you had Contrast and We Happy Few. Like, I don't want to put it out there that, hey, this game is going to be like just mind blowing when it comes to graphics and stuff. I don't think so. And it doesn't have to have like mind-blowing graphics to be great. Let's get that out of the way too. It doesn't have to be a graphically impressive game to be a great game, because I played a lot of indies that I think stomp some of the big AAA games with great graphics. But it's not that one game that I've been talking about that I want to see that's like these big blockbuster games that other companies out there like Sony have made. But this game is very compelling. I love what I'm hearing so far.
Yeah, like the theme, the dark fantasy, Southern, like I'm all in on that. And I think it's kind of like, from what we've heard just from that Windows Central article, I think it's cool that all these games sound very drastically different. And so they're doing a really good job of not stepping on each other's toes as far as all these studios. It's a ton of studios. So you got to think about the discussions that have to be had so that people aren't making the same game, So.
Since Hargeet Shani says, since Compulsion is in Canada, would be a little concerned with them stereotyping the South instead of knowing the South. Still, hope it's a good game. What do you think about that?
What I think about that, I think they're gonna be smart, like about as far as like doing the necessary research and bringing the proper people in to make sure that they're not doing a disservice to the representation.
I think nowadays, most companies are pretty smart when it comes to that.
Well, you hope so.
I think a lot of them do their due diligence when it comes to things like this with diversity and stuff. And I think that is one thing, that word diversity, like, I love the fact that we're getting a wide range of games over at Xbox. Like, they really have a diverse set of games. Really have a diverse.
It's interesting you say that though, but it's like I still struggle with hair options. You know what I mean? Like, I can't find decent cornrows or Afro puffs or.
You know what? When it comes to that, the hairstyles and stuff. Let me tell you, hey, it's the same on the other side of the tracks too. I don't like the hairstyles and stuff that you get to pick in these games. Like,
at least you get 8.
They need to fix this.
2. At least you get about 8. I get like maybe
they
2,
need to fix that for sure. Anytime you can make a character which is always the problem when you come into a problem like that. It's always the ones where you can make your own character, put your own hairstyles on, where you see these issues. But usually if they make a character within a game, it usually looks pretty good. I mean, look at Redfall. Redfall looks great.
Oh man. Well, see, I mean, if you think about Redfall, like we really haven't seen too much other than like the CG trailer that they showed during the.
No, but even with that though.
But yeah, but you're right. The representation that they had in that trailer was awesome. You know, with the hair and whatnot. I think that's cool. But, you know, I'm talking about like create a character and all this, right? Yeah. Like just yesterday, you know.
Oh boy, you know how many times I played like a game where it's a big RPG or something, and you're in that custom creator, character screen, and everything looks perfect, and you're like, "This is awesome! I'm ready." And you go into the game, and it looks completely different. Right? It's horrible. Yes. And then I got to start over again because I don't want to play as that, whatever I built right there, because that ain't right. And that happens a lot.
And that is very weird. It is a translate sometimes. Like you're like, okay, this looks great, and you get in the game, it's like, it looks nothing like what I chose, but okay.
Yeah.
I'm type of person, like I stick with them. Okay, well, fine. This is what I'm gonna get.
No, don't stick with it. Even if you have to go back an hour, I don't care. You don't stick with it.
It takes forever to create a character sometimes. That's my time. I'm not doing that for an hour.
That's how I am. Sometimes I'll sit there and I'll spend an hour and a half on a character, and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But I want it to look good. A lot of us are guilty of that. And then there's some people out there that just say, okay, I'll just pick the default. And I'm like, that's boring. I want to customize. Like
I've done that before. Just pick the default when I got like frustrated. Like I say, with those hair options I mentioned to you, just getting frustrated. I couldn't create a character that I liked, and just was like, okay, bump. I just pick random. Just randomly generate me a character. They don't.
Oh, sometimes those come out even worse though. Oh,
yeah, that's true. Man. That's true.
You keep hitting random, boom, boom, till you get one that's okay.
Yeah.
Hargeet Shani says, preach, Delilah. Xbox never gets respect of having great games. Gears, Halo are big. No platformer. Ori, anyone? Xbox are always
and Psychonauts too. I mean, what? That's my game of the year. Psychonauts.
You know what? And we're going to get to that. But for Hargeet's, I think he's 100% spot on with this. But here's the thing. Nobody can say that Xbox got no games anymore, especially this holiday. I'm just saying. But no, they have such a wide range of games. I mean, their lineup is very diverse. Their lineup is way more diverse than their competition for sure. They've got everything. And what they have, more variety for sure. And if you look at it, I would say that they are on top of the RPG game right now with Bethesda.
Oof.
They've got all the RPGs.
Obsidian. Obsidian. Wow.
I mean, you got Obsidian, you've got Bethesda now, you've got Arcane, you've got so many studios
in Exile.
In Exile.
They got the whole. They got what's they call it in the MRU?
Yep.
Not MRU, is it? The Marvel Universe, right? How they got the Infinity Glove. Yeah. MCU, thank you.
MCU, MRU, like okay.
It's too funny.
Yeah.
Thinking of work anyway.
No, that's that. Hey, it's all good. But yeah, they just got so many different types of games. And going back to Psychonauts 2, I'm in agreement with you where I'll say it's not my game of the year, but it should be in contention, I believe. I played through that game and it was amazing. Great game.
I absolutely loved it. And see, I'm the person, I'm a completionist when it comes to those games. So like,
ooh, you went through the whole thing and got all the.
Well, I went through it, but when the game ends, it doesn't stop. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So you can kind of go back and play parts of the.
It's not a big spoiler. A lot of games.
Once you unlock, all the abilities, you can go back and see stuff that you didn't get a chance to see because you didn't have the ability at the time to navigate it. So. I love that. It gives me this whole Metroidvania kind of style, which is one of my favorite genres. So,
yeah, I was a big fan of the original Psychonauts, and people were giving me crap about it, because I was praising it on Twitter, and some people were like, that game's cartoony, that game's not good. I'm like, the subject matter within this game is more adult than most games out there. Even with AAA games out there that come out and say to have a mature story and everything. Yeah, you're not getting blood and guts here, but what you are getting is some deep themes. And I really respect that of Psychonauts. And they've always been that way. They make Psychonauts is just a great franchise, period.
Yeah, and so for from when I see that, when I see Psychonauts 2, it makes me think, look at Double Fine, and I think like, man, what's next for
Hmm.
them? Like, because we
Yeah.
know the if you've played through Psychonauts 2 and you've completed it, you kind of know like what happens. So I'm ready for the next thing at this point. Like I'm just
Yep.
for them, I think it's they got the huge opportunity of taking another leap. I mean, Psychonauts 2 was already a leap in my eyes, but I can see them definitely take another step.
Yeah.
So
No,
I look
I
forward
can
to
see
whatever
that
they do
too.
next.
You know what? It was funny. After I beat Psychonauts 2, I was telling Colt and others in a party chat. I said this game is so good that I'm looking forward to whatever Double Fine does next.
Right,
I'm
same.
really looking forward to
Yep.
that because the storytelling that they put within this game was just immaculate. It
Yeah.
was really well done.
The voice
Uh,
acting too was really good. Like
Really
all of
good,
it. It was
really
so
good.
good.
And I love the fact that there was different looks to the game, the different mechanics where you'd be playing as a platformer, 3D platformer, then all of a sudden go to a side-scrolling platformer. Like you
Yeah.
would just
That was
switch
so
up.
cool. That
I
was such a
loved
cool
all the
moment.
different looks.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, me
was
too.
really awesome. So that to me, if that's not a game of the year contender, it's a shame. It's a shame if that's not
Yeah.
a game of the year
I
contender.
I really wish they'd move the Game Awards to like January or
Me too.
February.
I've been
Because that
saying that for years
means
too.
everyone gets a shot, right? You got no
Yep.
ones that feel like they're getting snubbed. The voting seems it'll be well, it'll feel more fair because everybody will be considered. And
Yep.
so yeah, they should move the show. But who am I, right?
Well, no. I mean, it
they're not
makes
gonna
sense.
listen to me.
Every other yearly show waits till everything is out, by December 31st before they make that, award, like give
Yeah.
that out. Because if you're going by 2021, then damn it, have all the games that came out in 2021 nominated, be able to be
Hmm.
nominated.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to
Yeah.
me. I don't understand why they do it that way, but it is what it is. And especially now, it's everybody looks towards the VGAs as being the one. I
Yeah,
call
well,
them the Keeleys.
the Keeleys, like I would
The
say something about
Keeleys.
the Keeleys.
Yeah.
I was super critical of that show like years back, right?
Yeah.
But they've done such a better job of like showing premieres and
Showcasing.
right,
That's why I watch.
and they still got to me nail the pacing. Still, I think
Yeah.
I have my gripes with that. Sometimes I feel like it gets to a nice spot and they kind of drag it a little
Mhm.
tad too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
But man, to me the production value has been improved drastically over the years, and we've seen the growth, right? And
Yeah.
so
We've seen it. And
and now you got publishers like showcasing their titles like for the
yep.
first time,
Or showcasing their consoles,
their console,
Microsoft.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
That was
So
amazing. And they showcased Hellblade too.
yeah, that's
So
right. That's right.
yeah. I look to for the showcase aspect of the show. It's for
Sure.
me, I want to see the premieres and stuff. I really don't care what they feel is game of the year in the end because I have my
I
game of the
do.
year.
I care. I care.
But I do want the game of the years that I feel are game of the year, in contention to be commended. I want them to be shown.
Nobody
I
remembers
want
second
them
place.
some
Who
light
remembers
shed on
second
them.
place? Think about that though. No one remembers second place. I really want Second Night to win because I feel like
Yeah.
man, Double Fine's been doing it for a while, and what they were able to create with Psychonauts 2, like you said, the storytelling, all that. To me, it
It was
checked all
really
the
good.
boxes, and so I
But
get
for
it though.
me, honestly, for me, it's Death's Door. I love Death's
Ooh,
Door
that
so
sounds
much.
good. I like
I
Death's Door
loved it.
too, but I guess you know what? For me, it's like I feel like I've played that game before. That's what knocks it for me. It's like, man, I've played Zelda. I've played a game top down.
Types like that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've played that
But
game.
I think it was
So-
really well done. The pacing, the mechanics of the game, and of course the little story they had there was cool. Like
Yeah.
it all just melded well. I just felt that it was just a great game to play through. I never once thought, oh my God, this is long or tedious or got bored. Matter of fact, it was very challenging at times, and I
what's
loved that
interesting?
aspect.
You say that, like for me, when I look at Death's Door, I have that feeling. Like, well, okay, I'm gonna turn off
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Like I don't want to continue it because it's like I feel like I don't have to track it that much. I don't
Yeah.
have to pay attention. I can stop that game for a week and go back and play it the next week and not feel like I've missed a beat. Because to
Yeah.
me, I'm not really, the story for me is not, it's not gripping me like that.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. But
So I
again,
can just forget. I can forget about it and go back to it later. And to me, that's why I put it below Psychonauts 2.
Psychonauts.
I wanted to kind of see like what's gonna happen.
And also a lot of brilliance of Psychonauts 2 is the fact that they when they were talking about some deep themes and stuff, even the puzzles and stuff, you had to kind of pick and choose what, type of mood or whatever that, this person might be in. And like, I really like that sort of thing. It was really cool. That was the brilliance of that game. Lady Foxfire says, amazing guest and gamer, GWG groupie Patreon here.
Thank you.
So that's your Patreon right there.
Yes, always.
Awesome.
Fun fact about Lady Foxfire, she was the very first subscriber on GWG. Very first up.
Wow.
I know.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
She's great. She's been in the community for so long now. Like she's been on every show out there. Like she's really been out there.
Yeah, we had her on as a guest on the show. We did the Heritage Week, the Hispanic Heritage Week. We had her on the show. So thank you, Foxy.
And I've been on your show too.
That's right.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I loved being there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was
Lady
fun.
Infamous 415, of course.
Yes.
Another GWG panel member here, and the whole mind behind the whole GWG podcast. Phenomenal guest, insightful, intelligent, witty, informative. She truly is one of a kind. Combine that with your mindset, Fonz. This is a great conversation. Thank you, lady. I got love for you, lady. Honestly, I'll tell a little story. Infamous, the first time I came to this community, it was early on anyway. I don't know, 5, 6 years. Well, no, about close to 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I won one of her little giveaways, and she sent me this like giveaway where it basically you got a bunch of Xbox stuff from the Fan Fest, and it had all different kind of things. It had like Sea of Thieves stuff and a shirt, and it had the Scorpio shirt with the Xbox Scorpio logo before the Xbox One X came out. Yeah. That was really cool. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome that you won.
Yeah, it was awesome. And she's a Bay Area. So Bay Area girl. So that's my hometown. So what's up? Awesome. Gaming Forte says, whenever I want fast food, I tell myself, no, Forte, eat what's in your fridge. Since your show is truly amazing, I'll give my McDonald's to you. Thanks. I don't want your McDonald's. I don't like McDonald's. No, sometimes I do crave a Big Mac, but that's it. Their fries are all right too, but not a big McDonald's fan. But thank you. I'll take it. It's free, right? Free food. Never deny free food. Never.
You know what fast food thing that I discovered like in the pandemic that's super good, like awesome, has been Chick-fil-A's parfaits.
Ooh, really? I've never had their parfait. Never had it.
Order you a parfait from Chick-fil-A.
Wow. What kind of parfait? Is it just all one? Just parfait?
Well, yeah, it's a general parfait. They don't have different flavors or anything. It's just a nice sweet yogurt with strawberries and blueberries in it, and they put a granola. That sounds good. It's Sunday, so you can't do it today. But
yeah. It's Sunday today. Don't go to Chick-fil-A. It's closed. People, they're not open Sundays. But
exactly,
go get you a chicken sandwich and a parfait, and it's heaven, according to Delilah HD here. So
that's right.
Listen to it. All right, so getting back to these topics, let's talk about a game that a lot of people are previewing right now. And of course, that is Halo Infinite.
Ooh.
And yes, a lot of people are previewing it. I don't know anybody previewing it. I won't talk about anybody previewing it because I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that game. But I'm hearing good things through IGN. I'll just say that. Thanks, IGN, for your coverage. I thought it was a little, it's not weird because it's IGN. They're big. But so far, from what you've seen, IGN cover, what do you feel on the game so far? What are you looking at this game?
Okay,
is the hype real?
For me, it is. For me, the hype is real. Right. I'm gonna tell you this though. To be honest with you, I've been on blackout mode because I look at this. The preview, the IGN preview, is like showing a bit too much. I look at it like a feature film, and when they show out 2-minute previews before the movie comes out, it's like I don't necessarily want to see anymore. I'm already sold. I'm already ready to jump into that world. Like stop. I don't want to see anymore. They showed us the campaign already. That's all I needed to see. That was enough to build up my hype. I'm good. I am good. I am so on blackout. I don't want to know anything. If someone say Cortana, it's not going to show up because I already got it blocked. Yeah. Yeah. Like I am ready because we only got 3 weeks, I think, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 weeks. So possibly 3.5. So it's
3.5.
So I can wait. Like, I don't need to see the IGN first. I don't need them to try to sell me anymore in the game. Everything I've seen looks really good. I'm loving all the little gadgetry and everything. So I'm ready. And I'm a big Halo fan. So let's go.
Yeah. And for what Ryan McCaffrey and Miranda Sanchez, who were able to talk about just a slice of the game, they have both said that they really like what they see so far, what they've been playing. And that's a good thing, because they were both on the fence about this game. They were worried about it, I'd say. They were talking about that early on. So I myself am kind of worried about the game, and that's only because I've said in the past that 343 hasn't given me Fonz a campaign worthy of like putting it up there on a pedestal. You know, I don't think they've reached even Halo 2 level. You know, for me, my favorite is Combat Evolved, and that's just because I'm a big what I was going through during that time, Halo Combat Evolved, and it brought me back to gaming and everything. That's just got a special place in my heart. Nothing will be ever as good as that. But this one looks more like Combat Evolved, even though I'm not down with the art style today. I wish it was a little more realistic. But the game itself, I could appreciate the animations, the graphics, all much improved. I think when it comes to the animations, I think that it feels like the guns have more impact on the enemy. They kind of respond to the impact. And I like that. Because most Halo games out there, like the previous ones, they just kind of fell. They kind of react differently, and I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, so I can appreciate that stuff.
I agree with you on that. Like how more weighted the enemies feel. Like it's not like your typical ragdoll where the character just flying all around. They feel a bit more weighted and a little more. They do more.
You're fighting these big heavy brutes and elites and stuff. You want to see them, really take that and respond accordingly. The grunts and everything, cool. I see a lot of people think the grunts are silly in Halo. I love them. I love them. I love that they brought that little comedic aspect to Halo games. I love their little chatter and everything when they're talking.
It's like you found yourself like looking forward to what they're going to say next. Like that's what I liked about coming up with the grunts. It's like running around.
They're always talking ish. Always.
All the time, yes.
Yeah, and then when Halo, when Master Chief shows up, then they scream and run, like you hear them talking, but when they see Master Chief, they just run. He's here, the devil, it's funny. Yeah. Anyways, Rain G4 says, great show, Krispy Kreme for the win, why McDonald's ice cream machine never works, laugh out loud emoji, get a Big Mac with a quarter pounder.
How did we get on the fast food topic?
Yeah, you know what? I never tried to get a Big Mac with quarter pounder patties, but that is a good point, because their Big Mac patties are so small and they offset them to look like they're reaching the outside of the bun on both sides. If you ever open it up, they're tiny little freaking discs. Yeah, so that might be something there. You're onto it. But anyway, this has been McDonald's Talk with Delilah HD. Why aren't your machines ever working for the ice cream, Delilah? No, why don't they work?
I don't know what's going on with McDonald's. I don't really eat McDonald's like that, but
there's actually a documentary out there about this. If you want to look it up on YouTube, somebody made a documentary on how or why their McDonald's ice cream machines are always broken, and they really are always broken. There's a whole documentary about this. It's weird. And I watched it. Don't ask me why I watched like 25 minutes. I have to check that
out now. You did it right. I have to check that out just because you mentioned
weird stuff.
And now I'm curious. I have to check it out.
Yeah, exactly. It like I wanted to know, and I watched it, and Anyways,
like
YouTube.
Don't go to McDonald's. Go to like Dairy Queen.
There you go, and get real ice cream. Right. Because that McDonald's stuff is probably like powder.
Yeah, or you can go to Chick-fil-A and get a parfait. Like,
you know what? Getting back to Halo, though, will this finally be the game that the Halo game that 343 makes their own, Delilah? Will this be the one?
See, I'm the wrong person to ask, because I liked Halo 4. Like, I really like what 343 did with Halo 4. I heard that shit, by the way, but I like
everybody's going to be comparing. Okay, so I want. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to me, like 343, they know how to craft the world. They know how to make great graphics. And so for me, the Halo 4, just the multiplayer, they had some issues with multiplayer. But I like the way they
Yeah.
told the story in Halo 4. To me, yeah, Halo 5 was a little bit interesting on the story. Like, I don't know,
Halo 5 was hot garbage.
Yeah, I don't know what's going there. I mean,
story.
yeah,
For me.
I like where they were trying to go with as far as the characters. They were trying to, broaden the palette, if you will, beyond Master Chief, because Lord forbid something happens to Master Chief, then what are you gonna do? Like, who. So, and it always goes deeper than what people think when it comes to those things. I feel like Halo 5 probably would have benefited better if it was one of those spin-off games, kind of like your ODSTs, or like a spin-off. Like, it should have been like Halo Guardians, not like a mainline Halo title. I think it would have probably did better, because people wouldn't have been so like expecting Master Chief at the forefront of the game. I think that, to me, that was the detriment. But I look at it like, like I said, I have one. I've never wavered or felt like 343 couldn't deliver a great Halo game, because I enjoyed 4. So,
which one is your favorite out of all the Halos?
3. 3 is my favorite.
3 is a good one. Yeah,
3 is my favorite, and then Reach. After 3, then Reach. So
Reach was good too.
Reach was incredible. It was
good.
The story in that was, fantastic.
Yeah. I just want to see that level coming for 343. What I really truly want is the day that people stop comparing 343 to Bungie. That's what I want to have happen.
Yeah,
so
same.
I'm hoping that this game does it for them. I really do. Like, people call me a 343 hater and all this stuff, but in the end,
it's all good.
Yeah, I am. But in the end, I want to become a believer. I want to become a 343 fan. And I will play this game because it's in Game Pass. I would have bought it anyway because it's a Halo game. I buy them all anyway. But I'm looking forward to playing this, and I just want to I just want to love Halo again, So the multiplayer I already do love. That's been fun.
They nailed it. The feel, like the flight, the feel, like the way the game feels, and like the gunplay. Yeah, they nailed it. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Because that's kind of sometimes hard to do. Like, as a developer, I used to be a developer. It's hard to kind of, especially when you're going from one engine to another. It's like getting that same mechanic in a new engine sometimes can be a little bit hard to pull off. So it's good to see that they're able to do that.
And Mass Erect is right in the chat. He says 343 has Bungie devs there. Yeah, there's Bungie devs that never left, and there's some that even came back. So I get that. I just
people forget that all the
they're
time,
a different team now, and I just want them to just make it their own, and people to stop comparing Bungie and 343. That'd be great if they could do that, because nobody wants to live in the shadow of somebody else. Nobody wants that. But Halo looks like it's going to be a great game, and I will confirm nor deny that I've heard anything about it. But it sounds. IGN, thank you for letting us know some of that.
Well, thanks for letting me know that they like the game, because I think it's great that they
Yeah, they like it.
You said Ryan and Miranda, right? So,
and Miranda, yeah.
It's good that they enjoyed the bit that they got.
And they can only talk about like just a little bit of the beginning. Like, they can't talk about much. So, but from what they play, they like it. Aside from that, I want to talk about something that I find kind of ridiculous, and it's this GTA Definitive Edition. Have you seen any of this, Delilah?
Oh my goodness.
What is going on with this game? Like, talk about a phone in. This is the worst port I've ever seen, or ports, I should say, of any game being remastered.
Man, I am not suitable to talk about GTA because I've never been a fan of GTA.
I've never been a fan?
I've never been a fan of GTA.
But you got eyeballs. And
I got eyeballs, and I'm not blind.
Pictures and video.
Yeah, I've seen the comparisons on Twitter. Yes. It's brutal out there.
It's brutal.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. It's like, I kind of want to chime in, but I really don't, because I'm like, I'm not going to touch it anyway.
Okay. I respect you. I respect that, but I'll chime in and I'll just say it's horrible. Like, I played about 20 minutes of San Andreas and had to turn it off because it looks bad. I've seen mods out there that look
like character models, just
the way everything looks, it's dark, and it's even if you turn up the brightness, it's still weird. And then just the fact that I've seen PC mods for the old game look a hell of a lot better than this is
PC,
ridiculous.
yeah.
The modding community could have done wonders for these games, but Rockstar apparently just decided, hey, let's, give it better resolution, keep sort of the same looking blocky characters. And they updated the driving and stuff. Like it feels a little bit better there, but just the way it looks is so bad. I can't play it. Like the gun mechanics are still trash too. Like it's so hard to try to play. And I know, shout out to my boy Colt Eastwood out there. He's having fun with these games. The nostalgia is really what got him.
The nostalgia.
But the games are rough. It's rough. Yeah. But I just don't like to see when developers like put something out there for, dare I say, a cash grab. But that's the way it feels. That's the way it feels. Anyways.
Speaking of definitive editions, are you going to pick up I know Sharice is probably in the chat, going to pick up the Skyrim anniversary for the 13,000th time?
No, I'm not going to buy the anniversary edition. The special edition got the update for the graphics and stuff, but you just didn't get like the DLC and like the mods.
Yeah.
So it already looks the best it can. I don't care to go back because that game is so damn long.
Yeah,
it is so damn long. And like I started it up like the beginning of the game and I was going through part of it and I was like, man, I'm not doing this all over.
Have you finished it? I ask people this all the time. Like, people play that game, but have you ever completed the game?
Yes.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. My old gamer chat, Burt Reynolds, which is still active, has all my credentials because there's a lot of people out there saying, do you have the credentials? Did you beat this?
How did that start?
I don't know. It's something about flying horses or something. I don't know. In any case, they could have their little parties and stuff and have fun with that. But yeah, I've beaten that game and it was incredible. I'm a big Bethesda fan. Huge Bethesda fan.
Awesome.
So Elder Scrolls, Fallouts, all those games I love. My favorite's probably Fallout New Vegas. Love that game. But
I have to, it's interesting. I played Fallout 3, but I hadn't touched like any of the other Fallout games other than 76 a little bit with the ladies.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten to Fallout because I was always like, really? I like the Elder Scrolls franchise way better with the magics and the swords and the dragons.
Yeah.
So.
What about Starfield? How you feeling about that?
I feel really good.
Yeah.
It's Bethesda and it's the main like team. So it's about time. Like I think that's a good look for them. Like I don't know much about Starfield at all, but if it's anything,
tell us, Delilah. Everything about Starfield. No, I'm just kidding.
If it's Elder Scrolls in space, like I'm cool with that.
Hey, Skyrim in space. That's what I've heard.
Right. I'm cool with that.
Who doesn't want that? That sounds amazing to me, especially with their new Creation 2.0 engine. I can't wait to see what this game is all about. I could pretty much gather in my head that you're in space, you're going to be able to loot, shoot, and do all kinds of stuff you can do in an RPG.
Bethesda, right? So in the end, that's their thing. So it's like, man, I just hope because I just hope they have better animations because they always had these weird kind of animation issues. And so I hope that's all polished and cleaned up and stuff and more modernized. Yeah. Kind of like what you saw with another Microsoft studio with the Outer Worlds, and how they were able to polish that up. Like that's what I want to see. Outer Worlds
is great. That was a good game.
Yeah, I can't wait to kind of see more about hear more about Starfield. So far they've only really showed like what concept art and talked about the game. So
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Starfield next year is definitely going to be a Game of the Year contender.
Man, that's bold.
I will say that. And I'll say that before I see anything because
you got your Horizons.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I don't care. They can come out with whatever they want. This game is going to be a Game of the Year contender. It's Bethesda with the backing of Todd. Look, Todd Howard is behind this one, and when his team is behind a game, a single player focused game, it's RPG. It's always awesome. Always.
Yeah, they know how to craft the world.
Now, Fallout 76, that multiplayer
Well,
thing
that
is
game's
different,
better,
but it's gotten
right?
better, I heard. It's gotten
Yeah,
better.
and it has 11 million people playing that game. Like,
Yeah,
this is a nice chunk of people still playing. So at 76, people like to sleep, but don't sleep too long because.
Colt Eastwood in the chat. What's up? He says Starfield is going to be so fun. Bethesda games are super addicting. That's the truth.
Yes.
Have
you played Deadwood?
Neo GameSpark is in the chat as well. Thanks, buddy, for showing up. He's awesome, dude. If you don't follow Neo GameSpark, follow him on YouTube.
I think I am following Neo GameSpark.
Yeah.
We need to get him on GWG, so I'm putting the plug in right now.
Get him on
Neo,
there.
we want you on GWG, okay?
Neo, go do the show.
Yes.
Go do the show. Hargeet Shani says, I hope we're not talking about Starfield, about how Starfield didn't make the deadline for Game of the Year next year.
Oh,
yeah, it doesn't make the deadline next year. That's true.
See, they got to do something about that. They have to do something about that.
See, I hate that because what happens is look at what happened with Jedi Fallen Order. They didn't make the deadline.
I know.
They could have easily been a contender that year because that year Control won.
Mm-hmm.
And who likes Control?
I like Control. Hey.
I'm just kidding, but I personally didn't. I know. But anyway, just some slander there.
Games is like, wow.
It's all over the place, Delilah. It's all over the place. I'm a mess. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. The show is over, Delilah. Thank you for coming today.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Shout out to GWG, 9 a.m. Pacific time every Saturday on the Grown Women Gaming YouTube channel. Check them out there. And Charisse, El Boogie, Lady Infamous, and of course, Delilah HD. Thank you for being here. Tell everybody where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Well, man, you just said it, but you can also follow me on Twitter, Delilah_HD. And good luck. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'm so excited for next year. And of course, tomorrow with the whole Xbox anniversary. So stay tuned.
It's going to be awesome. Hopefully we hear some good things tomorrow. And of course, until next time, folks, game on.